In 2019, the United States government handed Huawei what should have been a death sentence. No Android, no Google, no Windows, no American chips, no American software, no American anything. Every major technology company on Earth cut Huawei off within days. Apple, Intel, Qualcomm, ARM, Google, all gone. Analysts wrote the obituaries. The consensus was unanimous. Without access to Android, Huawei's phone business was finished. Without access to Google services, nobody outside China would buy a Huawei device. Without American chips, Huawei could not build competitive hardware. The ban was designed to make Huawei irrelevant within 2 years. Here is what actually happened. Huawei spent 5 years building an operating system from scratch, not a fork of Android, not a reskin, a completely new kernel, a completely new architecture, a completely new app framework, and a completely new developer ecosystem. 0 lines of Android code, 0 Google dependencies, 0 American software anywhere in the stack. In October 2024, Huawei launched HarmonyOS Next on the Mate 70 series. By the end of 2024, HarmonyOS had passed iOS. It became the second most popular mobile operating system in China, the largest smartphone market on Earth. The ban that was supposed to kill Huawei did something nobody planned. It forced Huawei to build the only serious third mobile operating system the world has seen since 2007. The death sentence became a blueprint. To understand what Huawei actually built, you need to understand what an operating system actually is. Most people think of Android as a Google product. It is not. Android is built on a Linux kernel developed by thousands of engineers over decades. Google took that kernel, added its own layer on top, and called it Android. Every phone manufacturer in the world then took Android. They added their own layer on top, then called it their system. Samsung's One UI runs on Android. Xiaomi's MIUI runs on Android. Even before the ban, Huawei's EMUI ran on Android. When the United States cut Huawei off from Google services in 2019, Huawei had a temporary escape. The underlying Android open source project code is free, not controlled by Google. Huawei kept using it. That bought time, but the writing was clear. The United States could close that door too, so Huawei started over. The new kernel is called Hongmeng. It is a microkernel, which means it is architecturally different from Linux at the most fundamental level. A microkernel runs most system functions outside the core, which makes it harder to compromise and theoretically more stable. It also means every application that ran on Android cannot run on HarmonyOS Next, not without being rebuilt from scratch. Every app, WeChat, Alipay, every banking app, every navigation app, every game, developer had to rewrite it specifically for Huawei's new architecture, or it simply did not exist. That is the challenge Google faced in 2007 when it launched Android. Huawei chose to face the same challenge deliberately in China. In 5 years, the app problem is where most people assumed HarmonyOS Next would fail. History is full of mobile operating systems that died because developers would not build for them. Microsoft's Windows Phone had better hardware than Android for years. It died because developers chose not to port their apps. BlackBerry's operating system was beloved by enterprise users. It died because developers chose not to build for it. Firefox OS, Ubuntu Touch, Sailfish, Palm's WebOS, all of them failed for the same reason. A phone without apps is a phone people stop using. Huawei's solution was not to convince global developers to adopt a new platform. It was to make the Chinese market impossible to ignore. China has 1.4 billion people. The average Chinese person spends more time on their phone per day than almost any other nation. The Chinese app economy is enormous. WeChat alone processes over 1 billion transactions per day. Huawei gave major Chinese app developers a choice: rebuild natively for HarmonyOS Next, or lose access to Huawei's entire customer base. Most of them rebuilt, not because they wanted to, because they could not afford not to. HarmonyOS Next launched commercially in October 2024. By then, the 15,000 most used apps in China had already been rebuilt natively. 15,000 apps rebuilt in under 2 years, specifically because the Chinese market is large enough to make that demand credible. No country with a smaller domestic market could have replicated this. The scale of China's population turned what should have been an impossible developer challenge into a solved problem. Now here is the chip story that makes everything else possible. An operating system needs hardware to run on. The United States extended sanctions. No foundry using American technology could manufacture advanced chips for Huawei. The flagship Kirin 9000 chip became unavailable overnight. TSMC, the Taiwanese company that had been making Huawei's chips, stopped production. Huawei was left with older chip designs and no path to manufacture new ones. Then in August 2023, without any announcement, Huawei launched the Mate 60 Pro. It was powered by a chip called the Kirin 9000S, a 7-nanometer chip made in China by SMIC, China's largest domestic semiconductor foundry. Without extreme ultraviolet lithography machines, which are banned from export to China, nobody outside Huawei and SMIC knew this chip existed until it appeared in a phone. American intelligence agencies were caught completely off guard. The chip should not have been possible to make with the equipment China was allowed to have. Somehow, it was. The technical methods SMIC used to achieve 7-nanometer production without extreme ultraviolet lithography machines are still not fully public. What is public is the result: a Chinese chip in a Chinese phone running a Chinese operating system. No American hardware, no American software, no American anything. The ban was supposed to stop Huawei. Instead, it accelerated the development of every technology it was designed to block. Here is the dimension most coverage of HarmonyOS completely misses. This is not a phone story. HarmonyOS Next is not trying to compete with Android on Android's terms. It is trying to build something Android cannot be. Android connects phones to phones. HarmonyOS Next connects everything to everything. The architecture was designed from the start to run across everything: phones, tablets, laptops, smartwatches, cars, televisions, industrial equipment, smart home devices, one single unified system. On Android, your phone and your car run separate systems that communicate awkwardly through Bluetooth or special apps. On HarmonyOS Next, your phone and your car are running the same kernel. The same application moves between your wrist, your pocket, your dashboard, and your living room. No porting, no special integration, just moves. Huawei calls this distributed computing. A developer writes one application and it runs everywhere. Huawei's hardware exists. The practical implication is that Huawei is not building a mobile operating system. It is building an operating layer for an entire connected ecosystem. Microsoft made the same move in the 1990s. Controlling the operating system means controlling everything that runs on it. Huawei learned that lesson, and what Huawei is positioning HarmonyOS Next to control is not just phones. It is cars, which are now the fastest growing computing platform in China. It is industrial infrastructure. It is the smart home. It is every screen in every location where a Chinese consumer or Chinese institution might interact with technology. The Windows angle is where this story gets genuinely alarming for anyone in the Western technology industry. For almost 40 years, Windows ran everything: offices, governments, banks, hospitals, industrial facilities, everywhere on Earth. Not because it was the best option in every case, because switching costs are enormous and nobody wanted to risk disrupting working systems. China was no exception. Windows ran Chinese government computers. Windows ran Chinese bank computers. Windows ran Chinese infrastructure computers. Then, in 2019, the United States demonstrated something. It was willing to cut an entire technology company off from the American software ecosystem as a geopolitical weapon. Beijing drew an obvious conclusion. Any Chinese institution running Windows was one executive order away from having its computers stop working. The Chinese government began actively pushing state offices, banks, telecommunications companies, and infrastructure operators to migrate to domestic operating systems. This policy is called Xinchuang, which means Information Technology Application Innovation. The targets are explicit: replace American hardware and software with Chinese equivalents. By 2026, Huawei's Harmony PC operating system is running on government computers across China, in exactly the spot where Windows used to sit, not as a consumer product, as a strategic replacement for foreign dependency. Windows 10 support ends in October 2025. That forces hundreds of millions of computers globally to upgrade. In China, that upgrade is increasingly going to Harmony rather than Windows 11. The global expansion strategy is the piece that changes this from a China story into a world story. HarmonyOS Next launched internationally in 2026. It targeted markets with a specific reason to want an alternative to American-controlled software. Huawei is not selling HarmonyOS as a better Android. It is selling it as insurance. Governments watched what happened to Huawei in 2019 in Southeast Asia, in the Middle East, in Africa, in Latin America. They all asked the same question. If Washington can cut off a company that large in a week, what could it do to us? HarmonyOS Next is the product answer to that question. An operating system with no American code, no American servers, no American company that can flip a switch and make it stop working. Huawei is explicitly marketing it as sovereignty software, the ability to run your devices, your institutions, and your infrastructure on a platform no foreign government can sanction away. This argument lands differently in countries that have experienced American economic pressure. In countries under American sanctions or threatened with them, one fear is very specific. Your hospital could stop functioning. Your bank could freeze. Because of a decision in Washington, that fear is not abstract. It is a specific experience fear. HarmonyOS Next is a commercial product designed to address a geopolitical fear. And that is a market that Android and Windows, both American products, structurally cannot serve. Here is the honest part of this story. HarmonyOS Next is not winning on technical merit alone. 5% global market share in 2025 means that outside China, HarmonyOS is still a footnote. The global app ecosystem that developers, businesses, and consumers depend on is built for Android and iOS. Rebuilding it for HarmonyOS outside China is a fundamentally harder problem. Chinese population scale cannot coerce developers everywhere. That leverage only works at home. Google's Play Store has over 3 million apps. HarmonyOS Next has 15,000. That gap is not bridgeable in 2 or 3 years. Huawei's Kirin chips, while impressive given the manufacturing constraints, are still behind what TSMC produces for Apple and Qualcomm. The Mate 70 series performs competitively at 7 nanometers. Apple's chips are at 3 nanometers. The gap in chip performance means the hardware underneath HarmonyOS Next is running behind the frontier, not at it. And the developer tools, while functional, are less mature than Android's decade and a half of tooling investment. Writing a native HarmonyOS app is harder than writing an Android app today. These are real constraints. They mean HarmonyOS Next is not about to replace Android globally in the near future. What it is doing is establishing the credibility that it could, and that credibility is what matters strategically. The lesson from HarmonyOS Next is not about operating systems. Every technology company should be paying attention. Every government, too. It is about what happens when you try to contain a large adversary by cutting them off from your technology. The United States sanctions were designed to make Huawei permanently dependent on American technology by removing its access. The theory was that dependency, once revealed, could not be overcome. It worked for a year. Then Huawei started building replacements for everything it had lost. A chip that should not have been possible. An operating system that had no right to exist. A developer ecosystem assembled through the coercive power of the Chinese domestic market. 5 years after the ban, Huawei is more independent of American technology than it was before the ban. Not because the ban felt the bite, it bit hard, but because the bite forced Huawei to solve problems it had no incentive to solve when American technology was available. The same pattern happened with China's semiconductor industry broadly. Sanctions accelerated domestic investment in exactly the technologies the sanctions were designed to deny. This is the paradox that defines technology competition between large powers. Cutting off a large enough adversary from your technology does not keep them behind. It teaches them to build their own. And once they build their own, you have lost a dependency that was your leverage. Here is the full picture. In 2019, the United States cut Huawei off from everything: Android, Google, Windows, American chips, American software. The goal was to make Huawei irrelevant. Huawei spent 5 years building a replacement for everything it lost. HarmonyOS Next runs on a microkernel with no Android code and no Google dependencies. It runs on Kirin chips manufactured in China, without the extreme ultraviolet lithography machines that were supposed to make such chips impossible. It has 15,000 native apps, rebuilt specifically for its architecture, by Chinese developers who had no choice. It has passed iOS in China. Second most popular mobile operating system in the largest smartphone market on Earth. It is now running on computers in Chinese government offices where Windows used to run, and it is being sold to countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. Sold as an operating system that no American administration can ever turn off. The sanctions designed to contain Huawei created something nobody intended. The only serious third mobile operating system the world has produced since Android launched in 2007. It runs on phones, tablets, laptops, cars, watches, and smart home devices as a single unified platform. Microsoft spent 30 years building that kind of ecosystem. Huawei built it in 5. Not because Huawei is smarter than Microsoft, because Huawei had no other choice. Subscribe if you want to follow what happens when a forced alternative becomes a genuine competitor. And leave your answer in the comments. If HarmonyOS reaches 30% global market share by 2035, who controls the technology that runs the world? Drop your answer below.